You know, of all the topics that I come in contact with teenagers on the road, all across America, different countries of the world, the number one thing that I hear from teenagers is, I feel like I'm all alone. Let's take a minute and just talk about why you're not alone. And if you're a parent watching this, I want to offer you some statistics that come from the CDC, from Barna, some very respected outlets that produce these type of statistics on today's teens. You know that only 4% of Gen Z, that's kids 7 to adults 23 years old, hold a biblical worldview. Here's one that gets me. Teenagers spend up to 9 hours every day on their screens doing this. 9 hours. Social media was strongly associated with worse mental health during certain sensitive life periods, including, and this one is really important, girls ages 11 to 13 years old. Social media has a direct impact to mental health. Among a study of students in grades 6 through 10 in the US alone, 29.9, 30% reported moderate or frequent involvement in bullying. I can't tell you how many students have stopped me at the end of an assembly and talked to me about bullying. Young people today are exposed to cyberbullying. Those who are at a 50% increased risk of suicidal thoughts over those of their peers. This is serious, serious stuff. The total number of teenagers who recently experienced depression increased 59% from 2007 to 2017. Over a 10-year span, it was up almost 60%. Female teens develop depression twice as often as males. And this is one I don't want you to miss. Between 2001 and 2015, self-injury, self-harm increased by 166% in girls aged 10 to 14. The majority of these increases involve the most common form of self-harm. You know what it is? Cutting. Up to 30% of teenage girls and 10% of boys say they have intentionally injured or hurt themselves. Think about that. In the broad scope, we're talking millions of people's lives. Up to 70% of teenagers who self-harm have attempted suicide at another time, and 55% have made multiple suicide attempts. Here's the question I ask young people to answer. What is so bad in your life that you would wrongly believe that your death is a better choice than your life? This is one that motivates me almost more than anything. Between 2000 and 2015, suicide among teenagers rose 47%. Now, post-COVID, that number is up even more dramatically. We have a real issue on our hands. Suicide is the third leading cause of death for young people between the ages of 15 and 24. In 2021, 14% of teen males considered attempting suicide. 30% of teen females seriously considered attempting suicide. Now, I don't want you to miss what I'm getting ready to share with you, especially if you're a parent. Every 100 minutes, a teenager takes their own life. I've given you a lot of information, a lot of stats. And I did so because I want us to understand that no matter if you're a young person watching this, or maybe you're a parent and you have teenagers in your life, it's critically important to understand that none of us are alone. This journey can be difficult, it can be challenging, but there is a loving God who has a really cool plan for your life. And here's what I offer students to think about. If you're here and I'm here and there's a real enemy out there, and you're not a threat to the enemy, but let's do it. Let's reverse it. I'm not a threat to the enemy, but you are. Who's the enemy coming after? You. So here's the $100 million question to consider. What does that enemy know about your life that he's so scared that you're going to get there that he would try his best to get you to buy the lie that your life doesn't matter? He's never told the truth to anyone. He's not going to start with you. So if he's telling you that your life doesn't matter, let me assure you, those two words I share everywhere I go. You matter.